This one out. How much longer does WoW have? From Nixxiom. You know, there's always the WoW is deaders, right? There's always the WoW is deaders. WoW is dead. People saying, you know, this is the end. The doomsdayers, the haters, the naysayers. Everybody's saying this is the end, guys. I hope you enjoyed the ride. You've been playing this game since '05. Well, too bad. Your game servers are about to go down. It's about to go offline. Time to download Final Fantasy. Let's see. Let's see what Nixxiom has to say. Let's see if WoW is dead and in fact this stream has to pivot and start streaming Minecraft or something. We'll find out. I'm going to take Nixxiom's word for it right here. Let's see what he has to say about WoW's current state. WoW gave me the Fearless Spectator title for watching MD. That's pretty cool, actually. Hoping I can help out the Brood today, and not be a detriment. Amikins, you are never a detriment. Even, hey guys, even if you struggle in the raid, even if you get booted from the raid, if these kinds of things happen, you are always an integral part of the Scourge. I just want you guys to know that. Some people struggle just on a single boss. It's not a mark on your skill. It just happens. But yes, I would love to have you. No clue how many horrors. What? Final Fantasy 14 combat is horrible. Well, if WoW is dead, we're not going to have a choice. But let's see. Let's see anyways what Nixxiom has to say here about Final Fantasy, or not about Final Fantasy, about WoW and the current state of our favorite game.
How much longer does World of Warcraft have before it fades away into obscurity and is no longer considered the king of MMOs? I know that some people would say that WoW is no longer the king of MMOs, but the game is still going very, very strong and is still very much alive despite controversy, despite bad expansions, and just when is this game going to die? Now, Dragonflight, WoW's current expansion, it has been relatively successful so far in terms of player feedback and appreciation, but, there's a big but, sales for this expansion have been low, and people are certainly less interested in Blizzard Entertainment as a company. So today, I want to talk about this issue. I want to talk about how much longer can we expect this game to be around. I want to offer my opinions as well as those of you guys, the community, on this topic.
Oh, wow.
So let's get started by rewinding the clock, shall we?
Before he says anything, I do want to say sales have been low, yes. I think Dragonflight is not the comeback story. It is the beginning of the comeback. It is the foundation layer for the comeback. WoW was destroyed over many expansions, right? And it's going to take many expansions to fix WoW. Shadowlands was the end for a lot of people, so even though Dragonflight's great, not everyone's going to get into it. It's going to take time for people to get into it. But I think it's the beginning of a good turnaround.
Let's talk about World of Warcraft when it first came out in 2004.
Oh, yeah.
When WoW came out, it was a massive success. It led to massive growth, and it was a huge boom for Blizzard Entertainment. You could only imagine what it must have been like behind the scenes.
So far, it's been great.
And as the game continued on, later expansions
like Dragonflight's been great.
Crusade only helped to grow the game more. But after Wrath of the Lich King, World of Warcraft did take a massive hit in terms of its population. It started in like a little bit of a downward trend. And the game, since then, has been going through a series of ups and downs, with some expansions bringing in larger number of players, like World of Warcraft Legion, whereas other expansions have only further harmed the game in the long run, like the recent Shadowlands expansion. Now, nowadays, many veteran players, they've left World of Warcraft for other games like Final Fantasy, maybe Ashes of Creation in the future, or maybe these people have just left gaming behind altogether. But despite the veteran players leaving the game, Blizzard has made little effort to make the game more appealing for newer players who might be curious about Azeroth.
Yeah.
Blizzard has even refused to create a Warcraft.
The new player life in WoW has always been very bad. If any of you have tried to convince any of your family members, friends, loved ones to start playing World of Warcraft, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. You get them to get into the game, and they have no idea what the fuck's going on. You have to handhold them through most of the early game content. And Blizzard has made many attempts, you know, fixing leveling and all that, how level progression happens. But it's still a very hard game to pick up and just start playing. That's for sure. A lot of hand-holding, yes. If you really want somebody to love this game, you got to guide them through the early stages of it, that's for sure.
Warcraft 4 sequel to the extremely popular RTS Warcraft 3, due to the RTS scene not being as popular as it once was due to, well, several reasons. Maybe just the dwindled intellect of gamers. I don't know. But that's the past, and now let's talk about the current state of WoW. So Dragonflight, as I mentioned, is the current expansion, and it is coming off the failures of Shadowlands. And despite a lot of low hopes for Dragonflight in terms of content and gameplay, expansion, again, it's been well received. I've talked about that in previous videos, we don't need to talk about that anymore. However, the damage done by Blizzard's blunders over the years has certainly affected the game negatively, leading to the poor sales on Dragonflight's part. Now, to be fair, we don't have any official numbers from Blizzard, but the company offering 30 days of free game time with the purchase of the expansion, as well as lower boss kill data and a lower presence of the game over on Twitch, this could suggest that the expansion isn't making as many sales when compared to World of Warcraft's previous titles. The point is,
like I said, the WoW is beyond a single expansion saving it. The damage that was done is beyond a single expansion saving it. Do I think Dragonflight has turned things around in the right direction? 100%. It is heading in the right direction. The patch layout they have for us looks like it'll continue to head in the right direction. But it's going to take more than just one good expansion to get WoW back to where it was.
If the game is decent right now, even if it's good or great, players just aren't too keen on supporting Blizzard these days or giving them a chance. And hey, I get it. I completely understand. You know how many negative videos I've had to make on this game over the years? It's been ridiculous. So finally being able to make some relatively positive content, it's nice. But let's talk about the future now. Let's talk about these future expansions, the whole point of this video. So what does all this mean for the future of World of Warcraft? Well, Blizzard, first of all, I think they need to do the following if they want to really turn their game around and be able to pump out the next several expansions, or however many expansions are going to come out, and then be received well, sell well, and get a lot of good community feedback. The first thing, Blizzard needs to keep innovating and offering high-quality gameplay like they have done with Dragonflight. It is a solid expansion, but this expansion is not going to turn WoW into some mega giant like it used to be. No way. It's going to take some time. And that leads to point number 2. Blizzard really needs to push to make the game more appealing to newer players in order to...
Yeah, the new players thing is a big comment. You said, so you're saying that you think the expansion after Dragonflight should be even better? Look, it doesn't have to be better than Dragonflight. First of all, we don't even know if Dragonflight is going to be a success overall. Really, content is king, right? It has to continue to pump out content at an even pace. WoW is a great example of this. Warlords of Draenor is not as bad as we remember it. The content in WoD wasn't that bad, other than there was the whole garrison debacle where everybody felt like they were playing by themselves. But the main issue with WoD was the content droughts. The length of time between patches was so long that there was just nothing to do in the game. And then enter Legion, where we got patch after patch in such quick succession that it always felt like there was so much to do. Legion's awesome. We're playing with our legendaries. We're having a good time. It was the fact that content was constantly coming out. Now, Dragonflight, what I said about the patch update earlier, is they've laid out a roadmap where it looks like we're going to get some Legion-style patches where it's just constantly coming, and there's always things to do in the game, and the game is fun. Right? Same with Shadowlands. Shadowlands had a patch deleted. It had time taken out. It had a bunch of borrowed power shit that was useless for an entire patch. Content is king, right? I don't know if the next expansion will be as good as Dragonflight is right now, or I don't even know if Dragonflight's going to continue to be good. But what matters is they're getting shit out on a timely basis, so we always feel like we have things to do, and hopefully those things to do are fun. If you have that combination, it leads to a good expansion. No, it was bad. It was bad. WoD was bad. For the exact reason that I said. Garrisons ruined the the MMO part of the game. And then add on top of that the fact that, we had no fucking content for months on end. Almost a year.
Recover the population. I just made a whole video on this subject recently, but right
WoD
now,
was the worst
in a
expansion
nutshell,
ever.
The
It
early
probably
game
was.
of World of Warcraft sucks.
Shadowlands is a
and
close
it needs
second,
a
though.
major overhaul if Blizzard wants to addict new gamers. Fun fact, I've even been watching videos recently on YouTube of people trying World of Warcraft for the first time, playing level 1 characters and going through the experience, and a lot of the criticisms that I brought up in that new player experience video I just mentioned, they're bringing up. So Blizzard, you really
new player
need
experience
to
is bad.
overhaul the new player experience. Number 3, they need to...
Somebody said, Alex, you mentioned getting rid of the 1 to 70 or talking about not having levels or something like that. You got to have levels in MMO. I mean, it's part of the adventure, right? Of growing your character, getting stronger, getting ready to fight the big bads in the game. I like leveling. I just think something about, after you've had so many expansions, it has to be revisited. And they've done that, and maybe it still needs to be tweaked a bit more. But yes, the starting experience for WoW players is it's a rough one.
Continue to operate as a company without any scandals or PR disasters. There's a lot of players out there, they don't care about the company politics. They don't care about what's going on behind the scenes. It means nothing to them, right? They just want to play a good game. They don't care who makes it. They're just a simple consumer. But there's a lot of people out there who, if Blizzard does not align to their values and their beliefs, they're not going to support the company. And hey, that makes perfect sense. And so Blizzard needs to just continue to operate, no scandals, no PR disasters, and really continue with their community interaction.
That's true.
That would be fantastic. And finally,
How often do you level a character? Not often. You guys know me. I don't play alts, so I don't level characters often. But it matters a lot to the player population. You can't just depend on the fact that you have a player base of veterans. You got to always be adding new characters. Not new characters, new players. A healthy game has to have a constant turnover of, because you're going to have veterans fall off no matter what. Even if the game is in the perfect state, life happens to veterans, right? I mean, you're going to have people who have kids. You're going to have people who get married. You're going to have people, some traumatic happens in their life, or their computer dies. It could be anything. But you got to be filling the game constantly with new players too. And if the new player experience is bad, you're going to slowly dwindle away at your veteran player base, to a point where it doesn't feel like an MMO anymore. You're just going to be running around by yourself, deck swinging around.
Blizzard
I am a one-trick pony, yes.
Continue to poll, take feedback, and really learn their audience. They need to know their audience.
Character should be level 40, 140 right now. That number is too high. I don't agree, King Julian. It's fine for a veteran player, but if I would have told my brother-in-law, right, I got him to start playing in BFA. If I would have told him there's 140 levels between you and me, and you got to get to level 140 to be able to play, he would have been like, fuck that. I'm in medical school. Think I got time to get 140 levels? It's too daunting. 140 levels would have made people not play for sure. They wouldn't even give the game a chance.
Inside of the game, Blizzard needs to make a game based on the audience that they have,
the level squish had to
not
happen.
who they think that they have. And this is very important. And I think for the past few expansions, Blizzard has been making a game for the audience they think they had, as opposed to an audience that they actually had. If they were making a game for an audience that they, objectively, honestly had, we probably wouldn't have seen Sylvanas being this main character so many expansions in a row.
Oh my God, Sylvanas.
Mary Sue, I'm not even going to get into that. The point is, make a product for your audience, okay?
Yeah.
Right. So if Blizzard can do this, if Blizzard can stay on the ball, if they can continue to make good content, how many expansions does this game have left in it?
200.
Well, assuming that each new expansion is good or great in terms of its reviews, I would say that WoW could, in my opinion, my personal opinion, I think WoW could possibly have 3 to 4 more expansions left in it before the game just goes officially into kind of, not dead, but it's just no one really plays it anymore, if that makes sense. However, if WoW does suffer in the later phases of Dragonflight, which could happen, or the next
that would be
expansion
bad.
is garbage and the next one is garbage, like all the effort was put into Dragonflight and everything that continues after that is subpar, I think WoW will probably only have 1 to 2 expansions left in it before people just get bored. And
here's what look, what he's saying, 100%, it's not a doomsdayer thing. World of Warcraft is at a point where all the forgiveness, all the, it's all right, it's okay. I know you just bitch slapped me, wow, but I still love you. That's gone. Okay? We're teetering on the edge of divorce. Okay? There's no more forgiveness. So WoW has to be the perfect spouse at this point. And Dragonflight has been great for that up to this point. But I totally agree with him. The way I see it is if WoW either fucks up in Dragonflight or fucks up the next expansion or two, it'll probably reach a point where it's the profitability margins have dwindled to a point where I think Microsoft will own Blizzard at this point, right? And what I see them doing is the only way WoW can recover from that If it's a true fuck-up, if Dragonflight fucks up in some way or the next expansion's shitty and player population drops to a number that just doesn't make sense anymore to continue, I personally think we get WoW 2. I think Microsoft or / Blizzard would put in all their eggs into that final basket and say, that's it. New engine, updated graphics, back to the basics, WoW 2, make your character. Here you go, you're starting again in Elwyn Force. And they can tie it into the story. They can put the last expansion. They know the writing's on the wall. WoW's done. They can say, hey, the old gods won. It's time to restart. You know, you're going back to the beginning. We're going to have to fight the old gods again in some way, shape, or form. Here we go. We're going back to the basics. WoW 2 comes out this time. And trust me, a WoW 2, no matter what WoW does, would bring people back. It would. Everybody, you don't quit WoW. You just take long breaks. That's what the truth is. So if WoW 2 ever came out, people would come back. Now, could WoW 2 fail very quickly? Yes. And then that would be the true end of WoW. But I personally think they would give it one more shot if they fuck up. Now, I'm just hoping they don't fuck up and WoW just continues. But that's my take on what could happen should they fuck up.
Move on. Now, that's just my opinion, mine. So what I did is I went and ran a poll over on our community tab here on this YouTube channel, and I asked the question, how many expansions do you think World of Warcraft has left in it? And I was very surprised. Over 12,000 people voted, and it was pretty even.
5+,
22% voted for 1 to 2, 3 to 4 was 19% of the vote, 5+ was 33% of the vote, and of course you got the show me the results people. And the comment section, if you go and check it out on this channel, it is just strewn with people saying that the game is probably just going to keep on going. Like, it probably more than, like, we're talking like 6+, 10 expansions, whatever. The game's just...
Realistically, that's what I think, too. I just think the game's going to keep going. They get $15 a month from each of us. They don't need that many players for this game to be profitable, but they do need a lot. And I think they still have that base.
It's going to keep going forever. It's going to be like Skyrim, man. With
I just said like such an oxymoron.
Maybe Blizzard is even taking a note from Todd Howard and Bethesda. At least this guy certainly thinks so. Check this guy out. He says,
classic.
I can't wait for classic vanilla WoW to come out. That is Mr.
That's what you know how he's talking about classic? That's the honest WoW 2 angle. That's what he's talking about. That's WoW 2. Classic vanilla would be WoW 2. It would be a return to regular WoW, you know, basic WoW, but updated engine, ready for the next, 10, 15 years of PC graphics and all that shit. That's what classic vanilla would be. I mean, he's joking, but it's honestly true. If they fuck up, that's where it's going.
Inmate Kieran 6020, he says he can't wait for classic vanilla WoW. Now, me personally, I'm more excited for classic vanilla WoW. Okay, but I guess to each their own, all right? You know, we all know that classic vanilla WoW is going to be far superior to classic vanilla WoW.
He's probably
right. We can all agree with that. But on a more serious note, where could Blizzard go with World of Warcraft in the future? Okay,
I agree with you, Meg. That's why I think
6 more expansions.
The continuation of WoW is the best option. WoW 2 is we failed miserably. This game is no longer profitable. We're going to pull at this IP one more time. That's what WoW 2 is.
But what are they going to do in those 6 expansions? Are we just going to go back to Durotar and farm more cactus apples? Well, here's a few ideas just off the top of my head, and I'm sure a lot of people will leave their ideas in the comments section below. But first of all, we could explore the Void Lords further and what they're up to way out in space. These guys have been teased, but we haven't touched them yet, really.
That's where we're going.
We have Sargeras and Illidan's storyline. It's technically not concluded, so we could see a return of both of these characters after their disappearance at the end of Legion.
In terms of lore, there's still plenty.
We could also get another world revamp expansion, like in Cataclysm, which is actually what a lot of people are suspecting will be the next WoW expansion after Dragonflight.
I would like that.
And that's just due to some hints from Blizzard developers in the form of tweets over on Twitter. Queen Azshara, we could see the return of her, maybe Naga, playable race, I don't know. The old gods of Azeroth could come back, very similar to Dragonflight's storyline. N'Zoth comes back, and then he's just awakening the old gods one at a time, and each one has their own unique raid. N'Zoth deserves a better ending. There's still a possibility of an island expansion with player ships, which this is probably never going to happen, but people have wanted this for forever. We did get a discount version of it in Warlords of Draenor.
Yeah.
It was very poorly received if you weren't
So
there.
bad.
There's a fully dedicated Emerald Dream expansion that could be in the works.
True.
Or most importantly, the one expansion that we've been asking for years. We can finally have an
What is
expansion
it?
all about locating Wu Ping, who mysteriously disappeared from Stormwind years ago during the events of the Cataclysm.
Really?
Do you think that I forgot, Blizzard? Do you think that we forgot? Because we sure as heck didn't. That's right. Or if Blizzard wants to be really cool, they could continue the storyline of Gunther Arcanus from Classic WoW. You know, the undead on the island in Tirisfal Glades and like,
No.
what's it called, Stillwater Lake or something? Whatever. You recruit him in Classic WoW. And
No way.
his whole purpose, his whole quest line is you're recruiting him and bringing him to the Undercity because what he's going to do is he's going to teach necromancy to the Forsaken and to the Horde. This
New
storyline
class?
was never once expanded upon. In all these years of World of Warcraft, I am still salty about it all these years later because I remember reading this quest text back in 2005 and I was like, oh wow, necromancers are coming, man, they're coming. Never happened. The point is, there's a lot of possibilities still for World of Warcraft expansions in the future, so I'm sure that so long as people keep playing, Blizzard's going to keep pumping out the expansions.
That's it.
I think
Keep
maybe
playing,
there's
they'll
only
keep
going to be
bringing
2 to 3 left before really the game just kind of dies out completely, but I don't know. 2, 3,
Oh, Nixxiom
20?
says 2 to 3.
Guess we'll have to see. But man, do I really want a Necromancer expansion before this game dies out.
World revamp,
Death
I think,
Knights
is
and
coming.
Necromancers, man, they're all that I've ever wanted in this game since I played Warcraft 3 for the first time all those years ago. We got the Death Knights, now we just need the Necromancers. When Blizzard does that, I can finally die happy and I can quit this soul-crushing game. All right, guys. Well, if you're curious about how the current expansion in World of Warcraft is doing,
It's great.
If you're not playing it right now, if you want like a
Here's
quick
the
little
truth.
review of it, be sure to
Here's the truth. Us WoW players, right? Many of us WoW players, our first MMO ever was World of Warcraft. A lot of us, our only MMO ever was World of Warcraft. Should World of Warcraft die? Should it die at some point? We'll pick up another MMO. We'll just keep going. It's already too much part of my life. Playing MMOs, I started playing my first MMO in 2005 was World of Warcraft, and since then I have never found joy in any other type of game category but MMOs. Okay? So if World of Warcraft were to die, we probably end up playing like the League of Legends MMO. Speaking of which, Entgrove has a YouTube channel related to that MMO. If you guys ever wanted to check his channel out, I'm pretty sure I follow him on both of my... Yeah, right here. This is Entgrove's channel. He talks about... he talks a lot about League of Legends lore because he thinks the League of Legends MMO will be the next great MMO after WoW. Now, this game's probably not coming out for another fucking 5 years or something. But it could match up well with the timing of the demise of WoW. You never know. What do I personally prefer? I prefer that World of Warcraft continues on forever. I love the game. I love the lore. I love everything about it. Many memories made in this game. And I hope it continue to make memories, if anything, with you guys. That would be the best of all. Let me link this this video that we just watched from Nixxiom in the chat here, because Alex requested that I do so, and I think that's a good idea. So there's the video we just watched. Great one. You know what else is great? You know what else is great, guys? Playing World of Warcraft. And that's what we're about to do. It's time to get into it. Broodkeeper, still alive. And that's a mistake.